Hello, I'm David Groninger in Seattle, Washington. Today is Thursday, December 17th, 2015. What do you know? Beethoven's birthday. And although you can't see it, it's out of the camera right now. This is my Steinway grand piano, and I can play a little bit of Beethoven, but I prefer Chopin, Debussy, and Rachmaninoff, and my own compositions. Well, every day I ask myself this question: what can I say in a 5-minute message that might help 5 million people? Sometimes I go for a 10-minute message that might help 10 million people. Today I'm going to go for this: what could I say in a 5-minute message that could help 5 million people? And I have my trusty alarm clock set to go off in about 6 minutes, actually. Well, what came up today when I answered this question for myself was this. And this is the title of today's talk. It is Your Forgotten Miracles. Your Forgotten Miracles. That is, some of the incredible things that have happened to you in your life. Some of the really, really wonderful experiences you've had that you could almost call like a miracle that you've forgotten about. And because you've forgotten about them, when you feel bad in life, or when you feel a little bit, bored, and you want a little bit more excitement, you reach for more and more things. Here's an idea for you. Reach back. Instead of reaching forward, reach deeper into some of your experiences and feel the good feeling from some of the great miracles that have already happened. The more you appreciate the good that has already happened to you, the more you're going to be in a position of this, good feeling and state of appreciation to appreciate everything that's around you right now. And you won't have to reach forward for good. Good will be wherever you walk forward to. So the message is this: don't forget your miracles. Remember your miracles. You might say it's, the forgotten miracles. Ask yourself questions like, what are some of the things that have happened in my life that are as though they were miracles? Write them down. You're going to find that you're going to feel quite good, and you'll find that your IQ, your intelligence, your sense of intuition, or your sense of an excited and stimulated mindset is really going to get activated as you remember some of these miracles. Winston Churchill, one of his quotes was that we sometimes stumble upon a great truth in life, but what usually happens is we just pick ourselves back up and continue right along just as if nothing had happened. We stumble upon a great truth here and then, but what usually happens is we just pick ourselves back up and keep right on going just as if nothing had happened. In other words, you have already encountered some incredible experiences that you've maybe forgotten about because you kept right along going. You didn't pay close enough attention. There was too much of life that was kind of just, pushing you in a certain direction of a normal kind of a routine, that somehow the shooting star that you saw, or some incredible human experience that you had, these things were somehow kind of washed away in the mundane and in the routine. Of course we need the mundane and the routine. It's the stability of life, and it's this stability that helps us have the structure for us to find miracles. So there's nothing wrong with routine, but don't forget the miracles. Do not let your miracles be forgotten. And a really fascinating way to interact with other people, with your friends: ask your friends, hey, what are some of the miracles they've experienced? Let them talk about it. You'll find that it's a way of bringing out a lot of magic in their lives, and they will remember the experience of just talking to you about their miracles. And some people may not have even remembered one time their miracle until you actually asked them about it, or until they actually asked themselves about it, and then they realize, wow, that did happen, and I have not thought about it since the time it happened. That's how quickly something that seems a little bit out of the ordinary can be kind of washed away from our memory. Remember your miracles. Speak about your miracles. Write about your miracles. Start a meetup group about your miracles. Start a blog about your miracles. Write down in a journal your miracles. And you can define miracle in any way you want. Something that comes from some great divine, inspiration, or just something that happened that you weren't expecting that seemed so wonderful. When you collect your miracles, kind of like a rock collection, or a butterfly collection, or a coin collection, or recipe collection, the more you collect, the more you find things that are like it, and the more you have a mindset that's focused on finding things and identifying things that are like that. Start a collection, a scrapbook of your miracles. Whether you keep them in a journal, find pictures that represent some of the miracles that you've had, kind of like a treasure mapping where you're putting pictures of things that you hope to experience in the future. Well, here you're putting pictures of things that you've already experienced in the past, but were very, very special things. And, have you ever heard the expression, the island becomes the sea? It's like this. When you recollect your first miracle and think about it, you think, oh, that's my time. I can only go a short time more. And remember, at one time in life, our alarm's going to go off too. Do not let your life be unlived before your final alarm goes off. Live your life and live it well. Don't let anybody tell you can't have an awesome life, because it's not them that's going to take anything away from you. It's this little clock thing that someday is going to go off for us each. Well, I'll finish off by saying the island becomes the sea. When you recollect your first miracle, it's like a little island in a sea of unrecognition, that other people don't know what this miracle is, and maybe it's been a long time since you remembered it. Maybe it's been a long time since you really felt really, really incredibly, excitedly, crazily good. And this miracle stimulated just a little bit of that good feeling, just remembering about that little miracle. Well, if you write this down and keep it in a little journal, and then maybe every week or every day take a little bit of time and say, well, have there been any other little miracles that have happened in my life that maybe I can remember? And just ask yourself the question. It's amazing what the mind comes up with when a question is posed to the mind. Well, let's say now, after a couple of weeks, you've come up with 3 or 4 or 5 different miracles. Well, you see, as I say, the island becomes the sea. These little islands of miracles, the more you collect, pretty soon it'll seem like everything's a miracle. The island has become the sea. Now you live in a sea of miracles. It's like a process of change, where you only have one of something that you really like, or just one day of being the kind of person you want to be, but you attempt again, a week later, maybe you have another one, and pretty soon, if you keep working at it, you'll have more and more bunched together, and the way you look at life will be through these little islands, and it'll be like a sea. It's just a metaphor for a process of growth or accomplishment. So that's been my talk for today. It's called, the Forgotten Miracles. Don't forget your miracles. Remember your miracles. Speak about them, and encourage other people to remember their miracles. When something incredible happens in your life, when you stumble upon a great truth, don't pick yourself back up again and keep right on going just as if nothing happened. Something did happen, and let it happen more to you. Be on the lookout for miracles, and be on the lookout for your fellow brothers and sisters, and helping them to recall their miracles too. So that's the talk. Remember your miracles. This is David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, saying thank you.